Welcome back to the Night Shift, your safe space to talk about UFOs, UAPs, aliens, disclosure, and so much more. Let's be honest, your friends, your family, your coworkers, they're sick and tired of hearing about it, man. What started out as an idle curiosity has blossomed into a complete and total obsession. So come on over here and subscribe to the Night Shift. Let's talk about aliens. If I look tired today, that's because I am. I have a mucusy 2-year-old. And for those of you out there who have also had mucusy 2-year-olds, well, you know what that's like. I don't know about you, but I need 8 hours sleep every day. And 8 hours at night. So that's like 16 hours a day. I haven't gotten that in 2.5 years. By the end of this show, I'm going to look like a old tomato plant, withered away, gasping for breath, desperate for water, on a Williamsburg rooftop. Got a great show for you today. We're going to talk about the Ukrainian UFO sighting. Ukrainian military got some really great footage of a massive UFO over an active war zone. Before I get into that, though, I want to thank my subscribers. This channel has been growing like gangbusters for the last couple of weeks, and I'm really impressed. I couldn't have done this without you. Thank you so much for subscribing to the channel. It's great to know you're here. It really means a lot to me to know that that you're interested in what we're doing over here at the Night Shift. Huge thank you to my members for supporting the channel. Bill, Teresa, Dueling Grox, Bowser, NYC, Deadbeat Bert, Stephanie, Bearded UFO Guy, Gaz, Anthony. You guys are the heart of Team Night Shift. I could not do this without you. Thank you for supporting the channel. Okay, quick public service announcement. I'm going to switch to the Daily Mail website. And if you look at it too long, your head might explode. Here we go. Now, admittedly, the Daily Mail is a tabloid site. There's no question about it. I mean, look at this. It's like if they crammed the entire internet into one website, and then you tried to experience it all at once. That's the Daily Mail. Let's go to the reader view, shall we? Oh, that's so much better. A disc-shaped, completely silent UFO was caught on camera by Ukrainian troops in the war-torn country, in footage shared exclusively with DailyMail.com. What the F is this? Why isn't it moving? The men with Ukraine's 406th Battalion can be heard debating as they witness the deadly calm UFO hovering over their war zone. While the size, altitude, and shape of the object remain a mystery, the drone's own altitude indicates that the apparent object could be a large craft over 30 miles away. Remember that. Large craft, 30 miles away. We're going to come back to that. Put a pin in that. The eerie footage was captured by the 406th Battalion this month via one of their over 300 heat vision quadcopter drones used by the Ukrainian armed forces in their effort to defend the nation from a now 2 years long invasion by Russia. Based on the thermal imaging drone's temperature range, the UFO was warmer than its surroundings, black hot, although a red error message on the drone's control interface leaves key details unresolved, as experts told DailyMail.com. The incident is just the latest UFO case over Ukraine's war-torn soil, fueling decades of speculation on the possible intent of the airborne mysteries and adding weight to the testimony of military witnesses who have seen UFOs disable nuclear weapons. So this is nothing new. We've known for decades that UFOs, UAPs, are frequently sighted near military installations, aircraft carrier battle groups, training areas, conflict zones, and this goes back as far as you want to go, all the way back into the ancient history of the phenomenon. One member of the 406th declares that the object is a UFO for sure, quote, The mysterious airborne object, while still unidentified, bears a striking resemblance to the Baghdad Phantom, the skinny cylindrical object spotted above Iraq in May 2022. And they go on to explain some possible explanations for what this could be. One of them is a potential software glitch. Another one is atmospheric phenomenon called Fata Morgana. This is where, due to some temperature differential between lower and higher air masses, it can cause a refracting effect that can sort of create a mirage. It appears to hover above the horizon. This is an example of what that looks like. Interestingly, Ukraine is no stranger to UFO or UAP sightings. In fact, about 2 years ago, a group of Ukrainian astronomers reported seeing hundreds of fast-moving UAPs in the skies above their country. They called them cosmics and phantoms, classified them into two different groups, cosmics and phantoms. This is the debrief article. I'll link to it in the show notes in case you want to take a look. This is by Micah Hanks. Micah Hanks? Micah Hanks? I hope I'm getting that right. That's why I'm saying it both ways. In a recent paper announcing their findings, the researchers say they have created a special observation technique they use for detecting and evaluating UAP characteristics. Based on the events they have observed, they break down their observations of UAP into two primary categories, which they call cosmics and phantoms. Quote, we note that cosmics are luminous objects brighter than the background of the sky, the authors write, noting three subcategories of cosmics, each named after various birds, swift, falcon, and eagle. Whereas phantoms are dark objects with contrast from several to about 50%. The Ukrainian team says they have detected UAP under a variety of conditions and have not observed what they characterize as a significant number of objects whose nature is not clear. Flights of single, group, and squadrons of the ships were detected, the paper states, with several of the objects exhibiting speeds from 3 to 15 degrees per second and varying degrees of brightness that the team gauges within a range of 10 to 20 hertz. The research team also employed synchronized camera systems that in one instance, according to their paper, quote, allowed the detection of a variable object at an altitude of 1,170 kilometers. This is the actual paper that group published detailing their findings. It goes into some detail. You can see some example images here of what they were looking at, how they observed it, what data they recorded. Very interesting read. I'll put a link to this in the show notes. So this was a big story when it happened, and it was covered pretty widely. Vice did an article on it. Debrief did an article on it. If you look for Phantoms and Cosmics, Ukrainian UFO, Google that. You'll find a ton of information on this. I'll put a link to some of these articles in the show notes so you can take a look. This sighting doesn't display any abrupt movements. It seems to be pretty stationary. So the question remains, why would a UFO hover over a battlefield? Are they studying the way we fight? Are they studying why we fight? Are they just observing? Are they neutral? Are they benevolent? Are they malevolent? Do they know something we don't know? As the conflict continues on, there's some very interesting rhetoric being thrown around on both sides. And this is a article that came out 6 hours ago. This is from MSN. Speaking before the American House of Representatives Armed Services Committee, U.S. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin highlighted the importance of approving a new aid package for Ukraine for global security. Quote, it's crucial to prevent a scenario where a country can redraw its neighbors' borders and illegally annex sovereign territory, Austin remarked. He pointed out that Vladimir Putin's success in Ukraine would likely embolden him to take more aggressive actions in the region. Putin issues another global threat. During his speech on Thursday, Russian President Vladimir Putin warned, quote, Western countries must realize that Russia possesses weapons capable of striking targets within their territory. Doesn't this raise the threat of a nuclear conflict and the potential destruction of civilization? Do they not realize this? Putin questioned, referring to French President Emmanuel Macron's suggestion of introducing NATO troops into Ukraine. And this is just another example of how quickly this whole thing can spiral out of control. And the world is in a very precarious position right now. And a lot of leaders would really love an opportunity to start a huge conflict because it would be a great distraction from all the domestic problems that are going on. And there certainly seems to be no shortage of insane people who are itching to launch a nuclear weapon just to see what happens. So it's possible that if a UAP were sighted over a war zone, maybe that's what they're waiting for. That's what they're observing. Maybe some of these smaller, low-yield tactical nuclear weapons are already deployed and waiting to be activated and used. Another thought that occurred to me is a number of years ago, like 2012, 2013, there was a flurry of activity around the idea of military hybrid airships. Now, when I say hybrid, I'm not talking about hybrid human alien technology airships. I'm talking about good old-fashioned classic airships, like a blimp or a Zeppelin, like that kind of an airship, but designed for military use. Here's a post from the U.S. Naval Institute's website, a rendering of an airship. Here's the article. Airships. Yes, really. Hybrid airships are not the blimps of years ago. They have the potential to transform military logistics, command and control, and surveillance and reconnaissance. This is from May 2019. I first remember hearing about this back in 2012. Here's a shot of one that was put together by Lockheed. And this is the Lockheed Martin P791, if you want to look this up. This is the P791. There's the Skunk Works emblem on the tail. Now, supposedly this project was discontinued, but when I looked at the footage and I saw the disc-shaped object, it almost looks like it could be an airship from a distance because it's not moving quickly and it's not taking off or doing anything spectacular like a UFO would do. It's just hovering there. One possibility is that it could be some type of a military airship. Here's a shot of one from Northrop Grumman. This is the LEMV. This is some footage from a test flight. If you didn't know what you were looking at, and you saw this from a distance, it could easily be mistaken for a UAP. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit here. The idea behind these was that, here, let's just turn that down. The idea behind these is that they can loiter over a war zone for days, weeks, possibly even longer, with a larger crew, big crew compartment. They can carry a lot of weight. They can observe, do reconnaissance, intercept electronic communications, control drones, sort of like a mobile command station. And one article I remember reading way back when, and I wish I could find it. I tried to find it, but I can't. Described a version of this where the skin of the craft actually had a high-resolution LED screen on it, and when you looked up at it from the ground, it could project or display footage of the sky above, so it would effectively render it invisible to the naked eye. But if you looked at it with thermal imaging, you would see a craft. So this is the LEMV. This was Northrop Grumman. This is from 2015. Now check this out. And imagine, you know, from some distance away, this thing's just hovering over the battlefield. It would appear, if you didn't have a ton of detail, to be a UFO or UAP. All right, take a look at this one. This is the Lockheed P791. We just looked at the picture of this. Here's one taking off. This is a hybrid airship, so it's got some kind of, looks like some kind of turbine lift system underneath it to help it take off. There are a few practical military problems with this. Of course, you'd have to be at an ultra-high altitude to be safe from ground fire. The footage that we saw was pretty low to the ground, and it didn't appear to be very high up. So I understand this thing can be... my understanding is that this thing can be quite high. They also had some concerns about using it to rapidly deploy a lot of a weapon system or drones or cargo because of the change in weight, the sudden change in all that ballast. If you dropped off a bunch of cargo, would cause the airship to behave uncontrollably. So this is an interesting possibility. It could be some type of military airship. If we were developing these, there's no reason to think that Russia wouldn't have also developed some as well. These were test vehicles. I don't know if it ever made it fully into production and service. They say it didn't, that it was discontinued for budgetary reasons. But I don't know. It's possible. Okay, I want to talk about one last thing before we wrap up this video. Now, what I'm about to show you is going to blow your mind, and it's going to completely change the way we talk about this subject going forward. Up until now, in this community, video has been sort of the gold standard. Video or it didn't happen. Neil deGrasse Tyson is famous for saying, get out your iPhone, shoot some video of the UFO. We need video. The advancements that have been made in text-to-video AI just in the last few weeks are astonishing. And going forward, it's going to completely change the way that media is created and consumed. It's been possible for about 2 or 3 years now to generate video from a text prompt. AI has been capable of doing this, but so far the video that comes out of it has been pretty laughably bad. Not so anymore. As with everything else in the AI world, we're seeing exponential progress being made, which means that by the second, this stuff is getting phenomenally better. And I'm about to show you some stuff that's going to rock your world. So check this out. This is OpenAI's website, and this is their Sora text-to-video AI model. Basically, you put in a prompt, it generates video. The more detail you give the prompt, the more detailed your video is. This is the first example we're going to look at. This is a prompt that reads, a stylish woman walks down a Tokyo street filled with warm, glowing neon and animated city signage. She wears a black leather jacket, a long red dress, and black boots, and carries a black purse. She wears sunglasses and red lipstick. She walks confidently and casually. The street is damp and reflective, creating a mirror effect of the colorful lights many pedestrians walk about. Look at this video, and I want you to pay particular attention to the hair. Look at the imperfections in the skin, blemishes, freckles, some wrinkles. It behaves like real skin. It looks like real hair. The little imperfections are the thing that usually clue you in to something that's CGI. When you see something that is real, there are imperfections, right? So in this video, that's all baked in to the AI model, and what we see looks almost indistinguishable. In fact, if you didn't know this was AI, most people would be convinced that this was a real video. We can see some weirdness in her jacket collar. It kind of gets longer as the video cuts back and forth, but we're talking about exponential progress here. So within a month or two, this is all going to be solved. Now, here's another shot. This is AI-generated video of what appears to be drone footage flying over a historical footage of California during the gold rush period, but it's drone footage. I've worked in television for 20 years, and I can tell you that back in the day when the switch happened over from film to digital in production world, the biggest challenge for people was to try and get digital video to look like film. It was almost unheard of for 20 years to be able to do it. And eventually, when it was possible, it was a big deal when it was finally achieved. And now this is being done inside software, completely with AI. Mind-blowing. Let's take a look at another one. Here's a prompt. The prompt reads, the camera follows behind a white vintage SUV with a black roof rack as it speeds up a steep dirt road surrounded by pine trees on a steep mountain slope. And it goes on. Look at the detail. It's the little imperfections. It's the wobbliness of the footage. It's the bounce of the car. It's the way the dust and smoke flows out from the tires. It all looks so real. If you were to glance at this and not know that this was AI, this looks like legit video. Tour of an art gallery with many beautiful works of art in different styles. All AI generated. The art, the video, everything. Now this one's really interesting. Step printing scene of a person running, cinematic film shot in 35mm. So this is the new standard going forward. We're going to need multiple sensors to verify any video that we see, or we're going to have to assume that it's been faked or tampered with or created entirely in AI. I don't know. What do you think? How is this going to change the conversation going forward? Will it change the conversation going forward? Was this video a mirage? Was it a airship? Was it a glitch in the software? The Ukrainian UFO? Let me know in the comments what you think. I'm excited to hear your thoughts. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and share this video. And hey, if you're not already a subscriber, consider subscribing. It doesn't cost you a dime. It only takes a second. And if everybody who watched one of these videos clicked subscribe, I'd be at 100,000 subscribers easy. My goal is just to get to 5,000 subscribers right now, so you can help me. You're my only hope. Hit that button, please. I'll make it worth your while. All right, I gotta bounce. I'll see you on the next one. Until then, keep looking up.